Hello, thank you for clicking on my channel. I'm Dami. I hope you're well. This is fun. This is fun. I haven't done a 3 reasons why in I think a month. So I've had a lot of vlogs going up lately because I've just been reading, and I thought, oh my gosh, it's time for me to recommend something else based on why I think it's amazing. So today, because the reason for this book today is because I'm currently reading a fantasy that has a character that made me remember who I'm about to talk about. So I thought, let's do this. The Firekeepers Daughter by Angeline Bully. This book did things to me. I think I should tell you right now that as of right now, my current memory, I did not hate this book. There's nothing I dislike about this book at all. I'm trying to remember and there's nothing I dislike about it at all. So that says a lot because I'm a very, bad and good, I'm a very easy reader, right? So if something's really bad for me, it just means my simple mind couldn't accept it. But this book, you know me. So this book follows Donis. Donis is part of the Ojibwe community, and she's currently in transition to like, I believe leave university or like get into university. She's transitioning between higher education basically, and she gets approached by this visitor from her past basically, right? Now I don't want to get too much into it because I feel like giving the synopsis is going to just ruin the whole thing. But basically, she finds out something about her uncle who has passed, who she really, really adores and puts on a high pedestal. And now she has to basically support, help, work with detectives, the FBI, and the police to uncover something about the community. But she's only doing it because one, she wants to prove that her uncle was not in the wrong, which they believe he was, and that he's not a bad guy. And two, if there's anyone who's going to help the police, she believes it should be her because she still wants to keep her community in peace and hold it together and protect them. That's like her major goal. It's only about supporting, the police and everything, which is a very, very interesting dynamic because from her point of view, they've never really done anything to help. So she's like, I might as well just do this because XYZ. And the kicker was no one could know. She couldn't tell anyone, she couldn't tell her family, and she's really, really close to her family. There's like a tight-knit community, so it's really, really interesting to see. Now, let's get into why I love this book. Number one, it was in first person. Now, for anyone who watches enough, you know that I just really enjoy when a book is when you're just going back and forth and I feel like I'm reading from your mind and I don't really have to guess. I love it. So I just really enjoy seeing, like the first 2 chapters, you kind of see how her days went. She would talk about, going on a run, thinking about her uncle before she even got approached by anything, thinking about her uncle, talking about, how this transition to higher education is going to help her but affect her family because there's no one going to be able to help. It's like a weird day in the life, almost like a diary that I really enjoy because I feel like that's a good way to set up a book that has a lot more that's going to happen. I was just talking about this in a vlog I filmed where in 2 different kinds of book where in the beginning of one book they tell you everything you need to know and you spend the rest of the book figuring it out. But in another book it's like, so here's what might happen, but just read everything else to find out, right? So in one it's like you kind of have the idea and the thought, and if you want to really pursue it or continue it or not. Right? The second one, you kind of have to just figure out as you go. And some people don't have the patience. But for this book, you know who everyone is. You know what's going on. And then you find out everything that's going on in the daily. It was really amazing, and I really enjoyed reading that aspect. Because not all books that are written in first person do that, but this one really did. Number two, the mystery and the secrets were delicious. I just enjoyed how after each chapter, you kind of know that, ooh, she's not supposed to do this, she's not supposed to know this, no one is supposed to know what's going to happen. And it's not a thing where, because this book, almost like life, right? You think everything's going to go one way, but as like you're uncovering something, it's like, fuck, what is that? Like, what is this thing? And then, because when you're working with the FBI, the police, or just when you're undercover, basically, you're supposed to report everything you find out. So it got to a point where she was a trustworthy person because they kind of knew her intentions were really to help them but to support her community. So that kind of put her in like a green. But then she starts to find out things about her uncle, about everyone, and she's like, okay, I have to say this, but I can't tell them this. And then the lies had to keep, you have to cover up a lie. So they kept piling up, and then the police were like, oh, but you said this last week, what's going on? How can we trust? The mystery and the secrets and the lies and the uncovering was salacious. And I just really enjoy, because I'm from somewhere that's built a community, when there's so much like lies, deceit, and covering up, it's just, that the can is going to get kicked up and everything is going to blow over anyway. And watching how that happened at the ending was amazing, which brings me to number 3, the climax at the end of this book. Now, I say this all the time, your imagination really has to help you because, and there are like a lot of enemies in this book. Not enemies to lover, fuck that. There are lots of enemies in this book, and there's a lot of like high school, not bullying, but like bickering and just hatred amongst, like, because again there's a community, but there's communities within that community, so there's lots of hatred and animosity, and seeing it unfold while one person is like, oh my god, this can happen because the police is going to do this, fucking amazing. So the climax end of this book, I think till today, is one of the best I've ever read, because, and I say that not lightly, because I remember I was at work, my lunch break was like 20 minutes over, and I was almost done with the book, and I was like, no, I have to finish this book. Amazing. And just a bonus reason, number 4. There was some budding romance in this book. There was. And one of my biggest sellers when I recommend this book is that you would think, oh, you know, ending of the book, everything gets done, everything gets resolved, the girl gets the guy, the guy gets the girl. I really love how at the end of this book, this character, Donis, is like, you're amazing, I love you, but after all this is said and done, I still have something I was pursuing in the beginning of the book. So that's a circle back, a throwback. I have something I'm pursuing, and right now I don't see that picture. I was like, fair enough. I wish I could take that. I wish I could take a pill from that cabinet, but I was like, fair enough. And it just made me like this character more, where she didn't like, it didn't turn to a whole get the girl, well, get the guy, everything's okay kind of thing. It's like, no, everything's going to be fine because I'm going to pursue what I wanted to pursue before you guys came along. And amazing. But I wanted to pop in here real quick to recommend this book because I sometimes think back to it and think about this character in this world. And there's a second book, I must admit, there's a second book, and it references some younger people in this book who are now grown up. And I will say I want to read it because I kind of just want to read more from this author, but the synopsis I've seen doesn't really pull me in as much. Maybe I will still read it in the future, but right now don't want to. But this is an amazing book that I have nothing bad to say. Literally, there's nothing, I can't think of anything wrong with this book, and that should be enough. So thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you for clicking. If you feel like anyone should read this book, watch this video, and you want to recommend something to someone, share, like, please subscribe. I talk about books and I show you when I'm reading books, and I let you see how lost I get in books and all that good stuff. I've been Dami. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye-bye.